All right, guys, good evening. It is Friday, November 30th, 2018. Hope everybody's doing well. Long time no speak. And I don't know, holiday season. So if you're here in the U.S., hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And wherever you are, hope you're going to have a good holiday season coming up. Start of Hanukkah tomorrow and Christmas and New Year. So whatever you're doing this between now and the end of the year, I hope it's enjoyable for you and peaceful and pleasant, and wish you nothing but the best next year. So I just want to make a video on just a few trades I took this week, and some were good and some were not so good, but I just wanted to point a few things out. I just kind of went through an analysis of all the trades I took. So what I'm going to do here doesn't cover everything, but points out a few that I kind of printed my screenshots and for my folder. So the first one here on the chart is Euro Yen, and you can see I'm actually in the Euro Yen short right now. I missed a really good entry on this afternoon, but I did get in finally here. You can see the green line. This is where the market closed. I do have a take profit down here, although I may lift this next week, but that's really not the point of this. I wanted to point out this. And so basically what I had here was some market chasing. So you see I had gone short right here. And you're going to say, well, why the heck did you go short? Well, because originally when I was looking at this, I was looking at this as the continuation of a downtrend. So I basically saw this move and then down. Then I was looking for this to go up a little bit and then to continue down. So that's the 4-hour chart. Back here on the 1 hour, clearly it didn't do that. I got stopped out up here. And then I said, well, now we've got this big uptrend. So now I'm going to go long. And this is just, cardinal sins that I produced here. So I went long right here, and then I got stopped out right here. And so, but you can see ultimately the market did go up. So this obviously is a corrective move. And basically what I should have done is just kind of waited for a break of this trend line. This is clearly a correction. This is an example of a trade I was not really proud of and just kind of chasing the market. Okay. So we'll take that one for what it was. I am in it now, and I probably will make up for these losses with this trade that I've got on right now. So, okay, so let's go look at a few others here. And some of these involve Elliott wave. Okay, so, and I'm going to take, well, I guess I'll leave these trend lines on here. So this is the Kiwi Yen. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. And you can see I took this trade. I went long right here at the end of this correction, but see where I got out right here. And I don't remember where I closed this manually or if this was a take profit level. I don't remember. I suspect it was probably a take profit level. I probably had a trailing stop. And when this corrected down here, I got taken out. I'm not sure, though. I'd have to go back and look at my history, but it doesn't matter. What I wanted to point out to this is that, clearly this is a corrective move right here, an ABC pattern. This is an ABC. It's a classic Elliott wave corrective pattern. Okay, and then we started going up for wave 1, and really I should have gotten in long right here. And then we went down for wave 2, and then we went up for 3, and then this was a 4 and a 5. So basically I missed the 5 and the last little piece of the 3. And so basically, the lesson I took out of this is to, trust the pattern. So that's about 86 pips on wave number 1. Wave 5 is definitely not that long. So wave 5 came up a little bit short. Usually wave 1 and wave 5 are about the same length, but in this case that didn't work. It went back to the previous high, and now it's going down. And I think we probably will see a correction down a little bit more. So basically, and even preceding this, you had a 5-wave pattern. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Let's see here. This wave 1 is about 195 pips. And this is 150. So again, a little bit shy. But I mean, this is a clear pattern right here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had an ABC correction, then up. So that's another one. Just, this is what's nice about Elliott wave. But once you have this breakout, now I got in a little bit Well, I got in at a pretty, that's the 4 hour chart. Here's the 1 hour, and I got in. So basically, I waited for this correction. I wanted a little confirmation. As soon as it took out this high, I jumped in and I wrote it up to here, and you can see. But I left. Let's see how many pips I left on the table. I left 50 pips on the table. I mean, that's a lot, and I wouldn't have gotten any more if I had held it through this correction and then back up, because it only went back to the same high. But so either way, I left 50 pips on the table. Okay. So, but this is nice about Elliott Wave, and I kind of did just take my own advice and say, look, I've got to believe those patterns. Kiwi Canadian was pretty much the same thing. This was the same time I took this trade as I took that other one I just showed you, and here it is right here again. Again, these two pairs look very similar, but this is the 4 hour chart. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then, so there's two lessons on this chart. One is that I didn't take full profit on this move up. The second one is this correction. Now, I knew this was going to go up again just by the longer term pattern on the 4 hour. So I knew this was going to go up again. But you see what happened? I got in long right here, which was too early. And then it went up, then it came back down, and it took me out because I had my stop too close, and I should have just waited, because this whole thing was an ABC pattern, and I didn't let the pattern play out. So if I was going to get in long right here, well, that would have been fine, because it would have been the same as getting in right here, but I would have just have to have gone through some drawdown. But I should have had put my stop low, because you see what happened? I got stopped out, and then the market immediately went back up. So again, see, I'm showing you guys things that's, that I'm not a perfect trader. Now, I had a lot of really good trades this week, but I'll show you one in a second. I was pretty profitable for this week, but I'm just showing you some because I'm trying to point out some Elliott Wave stuff, and where you can get caught up if you don't believe what you see. And this is a classic ABC. You had this move up. This is a little zigzag pattern down. And then you had a flat. This is this type of ABC where everything's kind of moving inside of a box like this. This is what they call a flat pattern, which is very typical for a wave 4, which is what this is. This is an ABC wave 4 and then up for wave 5. So very typical. And I should have just waited for that. And if I was going to get in again, I needed to just put my stop maybe further down, and I wouldn't have gotten taken out, and I would have ultimately have made that. So let's go to U.S. Swiss, and U.S. Swiss and U.S. Yen. I think, although I had a little trouble with those late in the week here, I think they're setting up for some nice trades next week. So I fully intend on making up for those. So here is, let's zoom out a little bit here. Here's the U.S. Swiss on the 4 hour chart, and you can see what happened here. This was obviously was a correction when I saw it. That's why I had this trend line drawn. I didn't catch the break. I was not home. I did get an alert on my phone, but I didn't see it. I ended up jumping in here really late on this breakout, but I figured it was going to go for a while, so I took it. But I put my stop a little too close. I put it just above this high instead of up here, because I was worried that I had gotten in too late, and that's a psychological barrier. And you see what happened? I got taken out, and you see what's happened here. This is now retraced. I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart. So here was the initial breakout, and now we've gone A, B, C, and now we've come back up and almost retraced 100% of this move. It's not quite 100%. You can just tell by looking at it, but it's pretty close. We'll put a Fibo on here. Well, technically it is. I mean, by this line, you see this wick came up and touched this line, matches up with here. So we had 100% retracement, and this looks like a great ABC pattern. Let's measure this. So there's your A, about 55 pips. And then this is the start of the C right here, back up to here, 55 pips. So I have a note to myself to sell this bugger when the market reopens, and you can see it was starting to head down, but this is late in the day on a Friday. I don't take trades on Friday afternoons. So, but I do think this will ultimately come back down. And the US yen looks very similar. Here's the US yen. I already have the Fibbo on here. Came down, we broke through, and now we have retraced. And I think the US yen is going to continue down too. But that US Swiss is really nice. Now, I haven't looked at the euro dollar, but the euro dollar, of course, moves opposite of the US Swiss. So let's just take a quick look at the euro dollar. I'm doing this on the fly, guys. I did not look at this, but I'll tell you right now. So yeah, we did have a little move. We had this move up, and now we've kind of retraced a little bit. I would have liked it if this trend line had held, than to have this, break back through. But if we put an Elliott Fibbo on here, it's sitting at just almost touched the 78.6 retracement. So, but when this came back down here, we did not make a new low. You can see the trend was down. If you go to the longer time frame, trend certainly was down, and the trend might still be down. I'm not saying this is a big long-term trend, but we had this this new low, and then the market came down, did not make a new low here, and it started turning back up. So I would say the euro dollar is set to go up. This little correction will finish and will turn up, although it's looking pretty bearish. So I'll keep an eye on it, but the US Swiss for me is a no-brainer. Okay, so I'm going to show you a really good one. So Aussie yen, and this one I took pretty much the whole thing. So right here, you've got a perfect little ABC pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this wave 1 and this wave 5 are almost the same length. And now we're kind of moving sideways. We'll probably correct for a while, so I'm not going to be getting back into this anytime soon. But, this was a nice little trade. Now, I got in right here, and I got out right at the top. Okay, so it was a nice little trade. Now, let's see how many pips that ended up being. 100 pips, just over 100 pips I took on that. And I got in really, I waited for this little correction to end. As soon as it broke this high, as soon as it took out this high here, I jumped in, and we had this big candle. This must have been a news candle. I didn't see this. Must have been a news candle, but anyways, I probably had my stop down here, and so it wouldn't have mattered. I came back down, retraced, and then it shot up, and then I held it through this correction and then back up. So this is a perfect textbook one. I printed this out, and I'll put this on the wall, remind myself to believe these patterns, these Elliott wave patterns, especially after looking at those Kiwi trades I showed you a minute ago, where I only I missed out on those on the entire trend. Let's see. Kiwi Canadian I already showed you. And what else we got here? Aussie yen, I just showed you that. And just look at my notes, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Last one I'll show you, which is another learning one. And so this is the Aussie dollar. Now I did I didn't draw the broker lines on this, but I did catch a lot of this move up on this uptrend. So we got a 1, 2, 3, very classic wave 3, strong impulsive move. Wave 3 is usually the longest of the 5. Wave 1, wave 2. Let's put a Fibonacci on here. Oops. Fibbo level came down to the 50%. That's usually the minimum retracement I like to see, at least 50%. And then back up, and then we went down for 4 and then up for 5. I didn't measure. It looks like the 5 is a little bit longer, but let's just see here. That's about 50 pips on the 1, and then on the 5. No, it's 50 pips. 49. Okay, so a little hard to tell sometimes. So I did take that trade, but then you see I got in here thinking that this move down was a correction, and then it was going to keep going up. But clearly, what we've got here is it's still in a corrective move. And the reason why I thought that this maybe was the end of it, one of the rules, it's not a rule, a guideline of Elliott wave is once a trend ends, the correction usually goes back to the end of the previous wave 4. Okay, it's not a hard, fast rule, but it is in the guidelines. So this was the end of the previous wave 4 right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 4 ended and went up for 5. You can see after it made this high, it came down right back to this low. I'm like, and then I saw this candle. I'm like, all right, this thing's going to keep going. So I jumped in and I got stopped out. And here's where I got stopped out. I put my stop below the low. It's a fail safe. Okay. So this correction is not over yet, but I will tell you, I'm still pretty bullish on the Aussie, and I will be looking for re-entries on all these Aussie pairs once these corrections happen. But this is another one where, I was a little premature, but I was following the guidelines. I just was wrong. That's all. So, and that's fine. I got in. I saw this nice, strong, impulsive candle. I'm like, oh, we're going back. And then the market said, nope, we're not done correcting yet, and it went down. So this whole thing is probably more like an ABC pattern. And I didn't look at that. Let's just see. 46. Then off this high, if this is the end of the B, down to here, 42. So it is possible that this is an A, B, C, and that we are going to go back up from here. And now we will continue up. I don't like all this, though. I don't know what the heck all this hash and trash choppiness is here. So I will wait for some confirmation. I'll wait for maybe the price to take out these, because obviously there's some strong resistance around this level. You got 3 attempts to break through, and it failed all 3 times. So I will look for a conclusive break above these highs. So above the, above the 73.18 area, somewhere around there. And then I'll look to get back in on the long side. And on the Aussie, this is the daily chart. We did break out from this downtrend. And so I do think that this will go up for a while. The Aussie and the Kiwi have been pretty strong. And I've really only been looking for longs on both currencies. So that's that. So that was a really good one. I was happy to show you. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I have some other ones here, but I'm not going to belabor this. Anyways, guys, just, like I said, you have to sometimes really, and I do this every week where I'll sit down and I will pull up the history on my account for the week, and I will actually go through just about every trade, winners or losers, and I will kind of look at them. I'll draw the broker's chart onto there, and I will, I'll look at those and see, what I saw. You really can get a really nice view of what you did really well and what you didn't do too well. And, once the market's closed over the weekend, it's a good time to do this when everything's nice and quiet, and you can kind of sit and look at things with the market not moving. And you can really, and then what I do is I don't do it for everyone, but I'll take a screenshot. I have some software from freeware called, what's it called? Lightshot. It's free screen capture software, and you can put labels on the screen and all kinds of cool stuff. This is what I think I can do this while I'm recording. Let's see. So you draw it on there. You can put this box wherever you want, capture as much of this as you want. Okay, and then you got the little text box here. I don't know if you can see all this, guys, but there's a little text box. So you can write right on the screen wherever you want. You can draw arrows to stuff. You can write on the screen, do whatever you want, and then you can email you, and then you can actually send this as a link. So it'll actually generate a little hyperlink, and you can send it to somebody, or you can post it online, or you can print it, or you can save the screenshot, whatever you want to do. So it's pretty nice. And of course, you can change the colors of these labels. They all default to red. And that's it. So that's called Lightshot. So I'll do that every week, guys. And I'll print out 5 or 10 of charts, and good and bad, and I'll study them, and I'll write notes on them, and I'll print them out, and I put them in my binder. And so when I'm seeing similar setups next week, and just to remind myself about things I did right and things I did wrong, that's how I improve. And every week I make strides, and I did have a really profitable week this week, despite these ones I showed you. I showed you really most of my big losers, but I had some really nice trades too. So, all right, guys. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions on what I was demonstrating or on Elliott Wave in general, and I will tell you guys again, like if you've watched any of my videos, I do use Elliott Wave in combination with fundamentals. Okay, if there's no news coming out on a particular currency, then I'm pretty much just going to be looking at patterns. Like the Australian dollar, there wasn't really a lot of Aussie news this week. I think maybe there was one piece, so I'll be aware of that. But the trend is up, so I'm looking for entries and technical entries off the Elliott Wave pattern. But if there's news on the calendar, I will print out the economic calendar from Forex Factory, and I will print that out and I will keep an eye on it. And if there is news coming out and I'm seeing a pattern set up, I will use that news to help me either confirm or decline an entry or confirm or decline an exit. And so I don't ignore fundamentals whatsoever, but I use them in combination with technicals, primarily Elliott Wave, and vice versa. I use Elliott Wave in combination with fundamentals when there are things happening in the news and economic releases that can really accelerate these moves, because these moves are caused by the underlying fundamentals. Okay, this big move up, something happened here and that caused this to rally, but it was confirmed by the pattern that it was going to happen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it's textbook, right? So, use both to your advantage. You don't need to be an expert on fundamentals whatsoever. I'm not going to beat that horse. I've covered that in multiple videos in the past. But just be aware of it and understand that I do not operate in a vacuum on either. I am well aware of what's going on the underlying fundamentals, reading Forex Live and Forex News, forexlive.com, financialjuice.com, and just kind of keeping a pulse on what's going on. But if there's nothing going on with a particular currency, I still will look at the charts, because now I'm going to just be looking for Elliott Wave patterns. And when I see a pattern, I will trade off of it. And I don't care what the underlying news is at the moment, as long as there isn't anything that's red level that I think is going to affect what's going on. And if there is, then I'll take that into consideration. So I'm not afraid of the fundamentals, and I'm not afraid of the news. I will use it to my advantage. And but I'm always aware that what's out there. So anyways, guys, that's it. Have a great weekend, and please comment, like the video, share it, reply, whatever, and hope to talk to everybody soon. Thanks.